this
here.
image? I am not, can't, why?
Yeah, I see him eat all the
He
time.
eats like
What am I talking about?
All the time.
Don Darrow.
I'm a hot mess. Okay. This is a test of our friendship.
Don't be scared. Just let it slide in.
Oh my God. Oh, what? What happened? What happened? What? No. We have an
Is that an outdoor kitchen?
That is an outdoor kitchen.
Hello.
Hi, Chef. Why do they give me a camera and a microphone?
Too
Yeah,
funny.
because they don't know your name is Etner Mom Ace.
I might leave him on an island and eat his chicken, but
Yes.
that's
That whole thing,
survival.
though.
That's survival.
Yes,
But
that's survival. Uh-huh.
I'm Rubes. Welcome to my channel.
Here.
Image! I am not, can't, why?
Yeah, I see him eat all the
He
time.
eats like
What am I talking about?
All the time.
Don Darrow.
I'm a hot mess. Okay. This is a test of our friendship.
Don't be scared. Just let it slide in.
Oh my God. Oh, what? What happened? What happened? What? No. We have an
Is that an outdoor kitchen?
That is an outdoor kitchen.
Hello.
Hi, Chef. Why do they give me a camera and a microphone?
Too
Yeah,
funny.
because they don't know your name is Etner Mom Ace.
I might leave him on an island and eat his chicken, but
Yes.
that's
That whole thing,
survival.
though.
That's survival.
Yes,
But
that's survival. Uh-huh.
I'm Rubes. Welcome to my channel.
Here.
Image! I am not, can't, why?
Yeah, I see him eat all the
He
time.
eats like
What am I talking about?
All the time.
Don Darrow.
I'm a hot mess. Okay. This is a test of our friendship.
Don't be scared. Just let it slide in.
Oh my God. Oh, what? What happened? What happened? What? No. We have an
Is that an outdoor kitchen?
That is an outdoor kitchen.
Hello.
Hi, Chef. Why do they give me a camera and a microphone?
Too
Yeah,
funny.
because they don't know your name is Etner Mom Ace.
I might leave him on an island and eat his chicken, but
Yes.
that's
That whole thing,
survival.
though.
That's survival.
Yes,
But
that's survival. Uh-huh.
I'm Rube. I meant the logo. Hello. Good morning.
Oh. Are we live yet?
We are live, but I'm fuzzy. Why am I fuzzy? Let's see if I can fix it.
Are you a peach?
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Welcome to Waking Up with Nana and PepPep. Hi, Great Big Bear. I am a Roogs from the intro.
I'm Sean.
Oh,
Mhm.
good for you! You introduced yourself. I'm so proud
It
of
only
you.
took me like 5 episodes.
Ah, yay!
Can't teach an old dog new tricks. Look at that.
Yeah. Uh, here on Waking Up with Nana and PepPep, we talk religious trauma. Sean and I both grew up. Don't do that. That's disrespectful. You're not even Catholic. Okay.
Is it?
Yes, it's disrespectful. Good job. I'm so proud of you. We are talking religious
Thank you,
trauma.
Olivia.
Sean and I both grew up in the Southern Baptist Church, which is a fundamental Christian church. And by fundamental, I mean fundamental. Like we aren't like hardcore, but it was like hardcore.
It
Like
wasn't Pentecostal, but it was pretty. It was conservative, and it was in the South.
yeah. So our lovely disclaimer. Sean and I are not by any means bashing anyone's religious faith. We are not bashing faith. We are not being disrespectful of anyone's religious beliefs. We respect your faith as long as your faith is done in a healthy, emotional manner. We, this is just our experiences in the Southern Baptist Church, how we are dealing with the mental and emotional trauma that did ensue from that. We often refer to the Southern Baptist Church or the SBC as a cult or cult like, because if you go look up the definition of a cult, it pretty much hits it all. So
Pretty much.
we are don't listen to that. We are very respectful. We respect everybody's faith, religion, what they believe in. This is our journey of, as Miko would say, doing the work of
Oh yeah,
healing
lots of work.
from lots of work. Doing the work of healing from our religious traumas. And so good morning, Calvino. Hi.
Calvino, Superman.
Calvino. All right, Sean, what are we talking about today?
Oh my God.
I'm so
Well,
excited about this one. Oh, and by the
from
way, my
here,
kids, I'm looking very churchy today. Like I actually had to go to church because my kids sing in the
oh,
choir. And so
you pulling off church lady?
I am pulling off church lady. All right, go ahead.
Mhm. Yeah, but you were the ones in church that were always a little distracting. So I mean, we try. You were the one that made some of us like we were trying to pay
I
attention to the
know.
message, but we
I
weren't.
know. I'm a Jezebel.
So you are
It's
absolutely.
fine.
How dare you show skin?
How dare I exist? That's pretty much how it is. Anyway, what are we talking about tonight, Sean? What are we doing today, Sean?
Well,
What are we
from
doing today?
oh my God, is this what it's what's like? It's what you feel like from purely a trauma experience. We've abstained from this topic long enough.
Oh my God! Did you go full on fucking Dondero right now?
I
Did
did.
you go full on fucking Dondero?
I did. Yeah.
Nope, I'm out.
Mhm. That was an
Absolutely
homage.
fucking not.
Mhm.
Homage.
It was my
Okay.
homage. Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
okay.
My homage.
All
All right.
right.
So today we are having the birds and the bees talk. We are.
Okay, man, you're better than that, right? Right.
I know. I'm sorry. I want to apologize for what I just did there. It's that was not my best work. Speaking of, we're talking the birds and the bees today. We're having the birds and the bees talk.
Oh, we
Fun fact,
are
I know.
we?
Yeah, we are. So we're talking purity culture. We're talking about abstinence. We're talking about the sacred sex. Dun dun dun. Yeah. So we're getting in deep.
Oh my God! Oh, is this what it's gonna be all day? Oh, you know what? That's fine. That's fine. I'll allow
Pretty
it.
much.
It's
Pretty much,
Sunday.
yeah.
I had to go to church this morning. Whatever. Oh, no, don't even get me started on that. So, okay, we are talking purity culture. We were discussing trauma on Dinks with Kinks as I am on that. And so Sean and I were discussing what we wanted to do, and I was like, you know what, we've actually been putting it off. We've been trying to ease into, just our podcast in general. And so we just decided, fuck it, let's talk about fucking.
Why
And
not? Let's
yeah,
stop beating around the bush.
oh
Let's-
God. Oh, it's gonna be all day. It's gonna be amazing. All right. So we have decided that this sex, porn, all of that stuff, these are gonna be separate topics. Right now, we're just going to we're going to cover all of that because trust
Oh,
me,
yeah.
Sean and I are doing all these works. Like we're doing the
We are.
works. But sex is such a huge taboo subject, especially in the Southern Baptist Church. So
Mhm.
right now, we're just going to start at the beginning. Let's start at the very beginning. Yay. Okay. So we are talking purity culture because that's where it starts. All this starts.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, and it's gonna get real, and we're cracking all the dick jokes because it's gonna get real. So you
That
about
see
to
that
see some
that's
trauma.
my excuse. That's my excuse. Is that's my coping mechanism, making the jokes.
You sit on a throne of lies.
I sit on a throne of dad jokes.
You know what? That clip is going in the intro.
It absolutely should. And I know
Yes.
of all people, Great Big Bear can absolutely respect that.
Can he?
He loves dad jokes.
Okay.
I send him
All
all the
right.
dad jokes.
So, do you let's start. Let's start
How do you want to
let's start at
approach
the
it?
beginning.
See, he does. He does.
Let's skip
So
the
purity.
first let's skip the history of it all.
See, I like to kind of dive into the history, like where did it come from?
That's
How
not
did we
where we're
get here?
at today. No, sir. We are
We're
not a
not.
documentary. We are not a documentary. Go to point number 2.
In your 5-point lesson plan.
Your 5-point lesson plan. Let's not even
That's
get
true.
that twisted.
It
Let's
is
not
my
even get
spreadsheet.
that. No,
That's
let's
correct.
not even get that twisted. Should I go? No, stay. Stay.
Oh no,
Stay.
I do.
Come
Yeah,
and
you
watch
should
our
absolutely
trauma.
stay.
Yes.
Oh yes, sweet trauma
Of course he sends you dad jokes on TikTok.
on the TikToks. Absolutely.
All right,
All right.
we're going to dive right in. The problem with purity fucking culture. And I'm going to get I'm not even going to lie, I'm going to preface this. I might get a little emotional, and by emotional, I mean like a little heated, because this one really irritates me. But continue.
Do we need to trigger? Do we need to trigger warning this?
Please don't mention lesson
Have you ever
plans.
Oh God.
Oh,
yes,
yeah. Good morning, Miko.
Oh, Miko's
Sit
joining
back
us
and
live.
watch. This one's a good one because this one hits me
Oh.
deep. Sit back. Have a good time.
This one does go deep. It goes deeper, harder.
So the problem with purity culture.
Purity culture, that hits us that starts when we're young. That starts everything. So much of what happens in the church, when you're young, is based around this idea of purity culture, and we are everything. We're divided in boys and girls, because we can't be put together because we're gonna do something bad. There is no. It's all black and white. Everything is black and white. It's sex is bad. Sex is evil. Sex is the
bad
devil.
and okay.
Okay. I put that in the spreadsheet, and that's exactly where your head went. Okay.
But
Yeah,
we
so
didn't get sex ed. We
didn't.
Sex was not it. You were just not to do it until you got married. And then you were supposed to, and even then it wasn't supposed to be good.
See, that's changed a bit now. There's been a bit of an awakening. But when we grew up, even it was no sex, nothing. It wasn't even just don't no sex. It wasn't like the sex that God can't see, right? It was nothing.
The sex God can't see? What sex is that? Is it like a black hole void of the universe?
What is it? I mean, it kind of is a black hole. It's the
That's where we are. That's what we're gonna do today, folks. Okay, religious trauma.
Remember the song? It's the song that John sent us.
All right, so we were basically we were taught not to do it. Don't do it. And we were taught that we were to save everything for that one person, that one soulmate that God had, that one person made for us. And that was it. And it was going to be beautiful. And it was going to be wonderful.
It's going to be heavenly.
That it was going to be that we just had to wait and be patient for that one person.
and that one person for the rest of our life.
Yes. Of all time. All
Yes, that
time.
one person will meet all of our needs, and we're not gonna want
All of our
anything. It's just
mental,
gonna be
emotional, sexual,
amazing.
physical needs, all of that.
Everything.
Because
One
God
person.
made that one perfect person for you.
And when are we supposed to find that person? Or choose that person or whatever? In
In
like
church.
our early 20s? At church and in our early 20s. Because we know so much about ourselves and of the world that we're able to find and recognize our soulmate at the ripe old age of early 20s, early to mid 20s.
God bless
Does that
it.
work?
Oh. So, yeah.
And it's not just don't have sex. It was don't do anything. It was, and though this wasn't pushed a ton, there were people in the church that believed you didn't hold hands, you didn't touch. I mean, forget petting or anything.
Did you just call it
Sec-
petting?
I did call it petting. Yes, I did call it petting.
Oh,
Yeah,
how
I
cute you
know.
are.
That's not. It was, you didn't kiss. You didn't go on dates, but just the two of you. You went on group dates because if you were left alone, y'all were gonna be all up on each other,
Yup.
and that was bad. That was evil.
Yep. And you weren't allowed to masturbate?
Oh
Oh,
yeah. So
let's okay,
that's
you know
the
what?
paradox.
I'm gonna dive right into this one because I
Do it.
review toys. So
Mm-hmm.
let's talk the shame spiral that is
Oh,
learning about your body, that is
right.
completely natural, that is completely like it's an important part of your sexual education. Know
Mm-hmm.
thyself. And I always found that funny when they would say know thyself and I'm like, I mean,
I
okay,
know
I'm
pretty
just doing
well.
what you're
Yeah.
telling me. Like, okay. You weren't allowed to masturbate and
Mm-hmm.
have those urges, which are completely natural. And I remember when I first started masturbating, I I thought I was the dirtiest. I was awful. It was awful.
Did you feel like a dirty girl?
I did feel like a dirty girl. And
All right.
not in the good way. Like
No.
I
Mm-mm.
had this shame and
Yes.
this like just oh
Every
it was terrible.
every sexual experience, including masturbation, was quickly followed by a shame spiral. And you began equate, and that became a when there's cause and effect, when you set up a cause and effect like that, and you repeat that throughout your life, that's really hard to get away from because it's
When
almost
I think
instinctual.
about you, I touch myself.
Hmm.
Oh, I don't know why that came in my
Is this where
head.
we're at now,
That's
Roots?
where
Is
we're
this
at.
where
We're
we're
singing
at?
songs.
Okay.
That is my coping mechanism. It's fine.
So, singing is your coping mechanism. I love it.
But I don't know, as a male, like
Hmm.
it was just like I wasn't like I was not allowed to have a sex drive. Like I was supposed to be saving myself for this perfect man and remain
Hmm.
pure. And it was
Hmm.
my job to remain absolutely pure. Don't
Yep.
think sexual thoughts, don't touch myself, don't make myself be provocative, which for a bisexual hyper sex drive woman is quite emotionally and mentally wrecking.
Yeah. You're not. We're not taught as teenagers, as hormonal teenagers. We're not taught how to deal with what we're feeling. We're not taught that what we're feeling is normal. It's natural. It's okay. So even if you subscribe to the you should wait till marriage, you should wait to have sex till marriage, even if you were subscribed to that, you're not set up to deal with that in a healthy way. Because, oh, well, you can't have sex before marriage, but you also can't masturbate. You can't watch porn. You can't you can't urges weren't natural. Urges were of the devil. Urges were of, wait for it, the flesh.
The flesh.
And the flesh.
Yay.
And you had to get your flesh under submission. You had to make the flesh submit.
I mean, I'll let somebody get their
See,
flesh under submission.
They were teaching kink. They just didn't realize it.
Sorry, it's fine. All right. But see, with that, and actually, like with that, so we're taught that those urges are bad. We're taught, okay, so here's what we're getting taught simultaneously. We're getting taught that there's one righteous spouse out there that God made for us. So we need to wait.
Of the opposite sex.
Of the opposite sex. That we need to wait for that, and keep pure. And all of these sexual emotions or feelings, all these urges that we're having, which are completely natural, that's bad. And so we're taught that the people that we're sexually attracted to and that would help us have good sex and a good sexual marriage and whatnot, we're taught that that's bad and that we need to avoid them, that we need to just, that's not the person for me because I'm having these things. And then we're pushed towards people we're not sexually attracted to. And we have no feelings with, like we have emotional connection or whatever, but we're not sexually attracted necessarily to them.
Yes. If those urges are bad, then we find someone who doesn't necessarily instigate. We don't have those urges when we look at them because we think they're bad.
So then we end up marrying that person because there are one perfect person, because we have they believe the same thing we do. They're a person of God. They follow all the right doctrine.
They are equally yoked.
Oh shit. If you never say that again, I would be okay with it.
You'd be fine. Yeah.
But I know we have
good terms.
I know we have a marriage and relationship episode coming, so can we at least just use it sparingly? Oh God. So
like two bison plowing a field.
That's every single time. I think so we end up marrying the
Uh-oh. Did we lose the Roogs? I think we lost some. Oh no, we lost the Roogs. Uh-oh.
We had a power surge. Hold on.
Did you make a power surge?
There was a power surge. Like everything in my house.
Sorry,
it's windy here today, so
this isn't a Wendy's. Ma'am, this is not a Wendy's.
My God, why are you this person? Okay, am I still live? Are we still here?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'm back.
Yeah.
I think
we're still here.
All right. Okay. So anyway, we marry this person. We marry this person and we are having really bad sex. Bad.
But we're taught that once we find that person, it's going to be good. We're taught for so many years that once we find that person, it's going to be wonderful. And and sex is bad. Sex is bad. Sex is bad. And then we get married and we all we got to do is we just got to flip that switch, that mental switch that makes sex no longer bad. Sex is good. I mean, that's all it is. Just flip a switch. Sex is good. We got it. Let's get it on.
False.
Sarcasm.
So with that, we're taught not to have sex, not to masturbate. Then we get married to this person we're only marginally attracted to. And I say marginally because, I mean, honestly, like, you learn to love somebody other than their looks, and that is obviously sexual attraction is not the end
Mhm.
all be all of a marriage, absolutely not. But like sexual desire is a big part of it,
Mhm.
because of intimacy. And
Mhm.
but so you marry this person who you're marginally attractive to, then all of a sudden you're expected to do the deed because it's a beautiful
Expected.
thing, and
Mhm.
it's not beautiful. And then you're like, okay, well, maybe it's
There's
just because it's my first time. Like maybe it's, we're just got to
oh,
get
there's
to
a lot of
know each
all
other.
kinds of justifications for it. It's built up to be it's going to be this amazing thing once you're married because it's going to be in front of God because God's got a voyeur kink.
My God, we're going to hell. Yeah,
Mhm.
great.
Oh no,
But then,
the book I'm reading talks about that all the time.
oh,
It's in front of God.
fantastic. Oh, it's in front of God.
Right? Mhm.
Here, God, here's some lube. Like,
Here, God, take note.
um, so then we have it. Okay, so we're not taught to masturbate. We have not been touching our naughty bits because we are good Christian people.
Boys and girls.
We're not touching our naughty bits.
Nope.
But our partner is not touching our naughty bits in the right way. We don't know what's going on down there or what's happening, but we know it's not right.
Right, Cavino?
It's
Mhm.
like two people that
We're
never
gonna
sailed
sail
a boat. Yes.
we're gonna sail across the Atlantic in this boat that we've never we don't know a single thing, but we're just gonna figure it out as we go. And it's gonna be good. It's fine.
It's fine. It's
Because
fine. It's all
because
good.
God is watching.
Because because God is the number one as long as we're
The
focused
triangle.
on that.
He's the
The
tip. He's
triangle.
the tip.
He's the tip.
Mhm.
He's just the tip.
God's the tip.
So it's gonna be like that all day, folks. Um, we're taught that we can't masturbate, so we can't. We're taught this shame around sex, and so
Mhm.
then it becomes, and shame is going to go through all of this.
Oh, yes.
We take on this responsibility of shame because we're taught that this person is our perfect person made by God. So obviously if they are not sexually fulfilling me, it's my fault.
Yep. It's our own fault.
It's my
Yep.
fault. So I'm going to, and
I'm
you're
doing
not
something
taught,
wrong.
right. And you're not taught to have that conversation. Honey, I'm
No,
not enjoying
absolutely not.
sex. It's, whatever, this XYZ. You're not taught to have that. You just
Yep.
suffer in silence.
That was a big part of the Dinks with Kinks episode on Friday. So anyone that missed that, I strongly encourage to go watch the Dinks with Kink live stream from Friday because it's all about that conversation. We're not taught. We are not on top of you. Don't masturbate and don't. You can't touch your naughty bits, and no one else can touch your naughty bits. You're never taught how to convey that. Well, because you don't know. You don't know what you like, so you're supposed to convey that all of a sudden. You're supposed to be able to have this very difficult conversation that is laden, surrounded by shame. Your entire sexual identity or sexual life is encapsulated with shame, and you're supposed to have this conversation with your spouse, who you just no, that doesn't happen. That's near impossible to have. It didn't happen for me at all, and that set a really awful precedence uh in my marriage
Yeah.
early on. Oh yeah, yeah, because I
And
came
see,
from Southern Baptist.
this is where we part, Sean, because I married a
Hmm.
Catholic. So
Hmm.
it's very different, and both neither one of us are in the church. We had both left the church by the time we had met, but
Hmm. I doubled down.
you did continue because you know more about this than I do.
I found a good Christian girl in college. She previously dated a youth pastor. That's a whole nother topic. Yeah, that should have been a red flag, but still. Um, Now she was a good Christian girl, but she was also she grew up Pentecostal. If you know anything about Pentecostal, like Southern Baptist is evangelical, some fundamental, depending upon where you're at, but but Pentecostal Church of God, very much fundamentalist. And I went to the church that she grew up in during, yeah, one, whew, yeah. So I met someone who had just as much religious trauma as I did, and we
Mhm.
were suddenly supposed to switch gears and enjoy this thing that we've been told is is evil and bad, and we should be, and we're and we carry the shame. And so there was
What is happening, Miko?
oh,
What is happening?
right, Miko, I have 2 bottles ready to replenish, so for the potluck.
He's taking care of you, Miko.
I'm
So
taking, I got you.
anyway, so you're having this difficult
Um,
conversation or not having these difficult
yeah,
conversations.
and so there were some things that happened early on in the marriage where we did not respond in a healthy way. We did not have a conversation. It was cause and it was negative, very negative cause and effect. Um, there was judgment and criticism because neither of us understood ourselves nor each other, and we didn't know how to have the conversation. There was no one to teach us how to have that conversation, no one to help us have
Mhm.
that conversation. Um, and it set a very bad precedence, and it in a way it never really recovered from that. We never, my ex and I never had a healthy conversation about sex desires, urges, kinks, any preferences.
Did you even know you
There,
had kinks?
no, I didn't. That's part of the thing is that was I didn't really learn about kinks and fetishes until Dinks with Kinks came along. Until I started hanging out with John, and we
Almost
rebooted, and
degenerates.
right. It was the great awakening. I had a, yeah, it's pretty much what it was. I had a rude awakening. Yeah, I didn't know about that stuff. So I know I had preferences, but I didn't understand why. I didn't understand what they were. I didn't know how to explore them in a healthy way. And the few times where they did kind of come up with my ex, there was I had a lot of shame around it, and then she piled onto that shame because she didn't have the same thing. She didn't understand my preference, and she judged me. There was obvious, it was judgment on about my preference, and so that created more shame and guilt, and
Oh,
it
Miko, we
spiraled.
have a whole thing on that. Yeah, that's gonna go in our
Yeah,
relationship. That's
oh
going. That one's
yes,
actually
I
going
think
in our relationship episode.
I
How's
think
that
we might
going?
need to have Miko as a guest. We might need to have Miko as a guest on one of those episodes
I know,
because I kind
right?
of want to hear that. Yes, I grew up friends with PKs, and my best friend was a PK, and that was fun.
Mine too, and now she's she's a very hardcore decky lesbian.
Hmm.
And I love her. She's so
Oh yeah.
um so we're taught, yeah, like because we're taught not to do it. So then
Hmm.
we have surrounded ourselves with the same people because we have the same friends and we are all part of the
Yep.
same culture. Yeah, we're gonna make it happen. So we're part of the same culture. So we have just accepted the norm that bad
Hmm.
sex is the norm. It just is.
Yeah. Just what happens.
Like, and you're living in this
Hmm.
shame and you're living in that you can't touch yourself, you can't get pleasure, you can't find any
Yep.
of that. This is just how life is. And then sex is not supposed to be pleasurable. Sex is
Hmm.
about connecting with your partner and making children. It's
Yep.
the sacred covenant that you have with your spouse.
Yep.
Instead, I mean, yes, that is part of it, but it's like, but what? And you're
So,
expected to not know. And it's like,
hmm,
okay, that's fine. Uh, I guess this is the rest of my life. All right, sure. Mhm.
yep. Find that soulmate, get married, have kids,
And
procreation. All about the procreation.
and this
And for
purity cult. Well,
mhm.
sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and for my ex and I didn't want to have kids, so the church is constantly pushing this when you having kids, and not only the church but also the family. Both families are pushing the when you have kids, when you have kids, when you have kids, because that's what when you get married, it's all about popping the kids out, cranking them out, get that baby maker, cranking it out, and so we were, yeah, oh, yep.
Baby Baker. I love this man. I love the irony of that man.
Right.
um. So yeah, morning, Beerful Me. Welcome to our
Hey,
chat
Bear.
about purity
He
culture and how it freaking scarred us forever.
he missed the part about youth pastors and pastoral kids.
He's shh. We're not gonna talk
Oh,
about
sorry.
that.
That's another episode.
Yeah, that is another episode.
Hmm.
So yeah. Then we're filled with this shame and this feeling of aloneness.
Oh
And this
yes, the
in
isolating aspect of it.
and you're always feeling like something is wrong with you. And
Yeah.
always feeling
Yes.
dirty and
Yes.
just ashamed of anything because that's like
Hmm.
because eventually, oh yay, cantata. Um,
It's the time of year, isn't it? Hmm.
eventually you're going to start discovering your kinks. And what if you have a fetish? What if you have a fetish?
Yes, that's what makes the whole idea of this one person. You don't even know yourself, and you're finding this one person, and they don't know. They probably don't know themselves either. If you have a kink, you take it or leave it. But you got a fetish, and what if that fetish doesn't line up with the other person? And they're supposed to be meeting all of your needs. They're the one person under God, and you find out.
Squirrel. Focus,
Yeah,
finish your thought.
sorry, cantatas. Yeah, so you're supposed to have this one person meets all of your needs, and what happens when your fetish doesn't line up with theirs? You you want to be degraded or to degrade, and they are not into that.
Or pantyhose.
Yeah,
Or balloon popping. Like,
yeah.
or, like,
When
so,
it's a
like
when it's
feet.
a fetish, yeah, because for anyone that doesn't know, your kink is something that you can take or leave. You like it, but you don't have to have it. A fetish, you have. So fetish is how you get aroused. You need this thing in order to get aroused. So if you need this thing and they can't provide it, or they're not able to or willing to provide it for you, that's a problem for sexual compatibility. But they're your one person and they're supposed to meet all of your needs. So then if the, so you end up in this paradox. Like, what do you do with that? And you can't do and on divorce, you can't divorce either. Remember, divorce is bad. Can't divorce. So you're stuck. And so you just like, well,
And that goes
I
into a
guess this is what life
spiral
is.
of, right. And because you can't
Hmm.
talk about something, because I know my therapist, because I'm like, I enjoy sex because sex, like, it is a connection with that
Hmm.
person, but it's not just an emotional connection. We'll get to that in a
Hmm.
minute. We're gonna get to that in a minute because I
Oh yeah,
I have words about our next
you have
topic.
words.
I
Oh
have
yes.
words.
We're gonna edge that topic for a moment.
We're gonna edge that for a minute, but
Finish thought.
I see now I can't because I got distracted by the freaking what was I
Edging.
saying?
Yeah,
Edging.
I don't remember.
Oh,
Audience, what was she
like
saying?
oh, okay, I got it. I'm back on track. So, we then start feeling that shame that
Hmm.
this person that was perfectly created for us, that we waited for our entire life for, that we
Yep.
pledged to, and we made public declarations about how I
Hmm.
waited for this person, is now
Hmm.
not fulfilling me sexually, like I don't physically enjoy their touch. I don't
Hmm.
feel a connection. And then they have to know. they have to know that the sex ain't great. So there becomes this split and divide,
And it just grows.
and it grows, and then that's where you start spiraling into the shame of yourself and the
Mm-hmm.
self-doubt, and you start getting depressed, and you really suffering.
Mm-hmm.
And it really is this spiral, and it's a spiral downward that starts really pushing
And the
self-loathing. You like,
mm-hmm.
if you start finding out your kinks, if you watch porn, you start like hating yourself every single, and it
Yep.
gets worse. It gets
Every
worse. Like,
time you do it. Yep.
right.
And then
And
yep. And then you're like, oh, I think I think I'm an addict. I think I'm a sex addict. No, you just like watching porn.
there is a huge, and Miko can attest to this because of her
Mm-hmm.
specialty.
Yeah.
There is a huge difference between addiction and just
Mm-hmm.
liking porn.
Yeah. And we're not gonna get too
I
much into the porn because that's a whole another episode that we'll have.
fearfully said it. I should like this, so why don't I?
And you think you're broken.
Or I
Yes.
shouldn't like this.
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh
I
yes.
shouldn't like this. I was
Yep.
taught I should not like women. It was not okay. And
How
you want to know
dare
how
you?
absolutely wrecking that was for me? I
So
wasn't
you get told a
allowed.
part of you.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm married. I'm a male. And it wasn't because, I mean, I married a male, but it still was one of those. I even until just like, I knew I liked women. I knew I was bisexual, but I wasn't supposed to. So it's very self-hatred. And you get
Right.
that. And that's how they get you a little bit. That's how they train you.
Yes.
That's how they
Yep.
train you.
Yep.
And
The
then you
shame keeps you in line.
the
Shame and guilt keeps
shame,
you in
the
line.
self-hate keeps you in the
Yep.
church, because if you hate yourself and you're ashamed of
Mm-hmm.
yourself and your body, then you have to rely on God, and you
It
have to
is.
rely on serving the church,
Yes.
and you have to rely on
Yes.
all that. And it
Yes.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that should be okay. You're taught that that should be fulfilling. Yep. Beard for me. Absolutely. You're never taught how to deal with, even if you go to a Christian counselor, they don't they don't address like sexual compatibility and kinks and fetishes. They deal with, well, y'all need to pray together, and you just need to read your Bible together, and they'll talk about trying to connect.
Exactly, Miko. I love Miko's here.
Oh yes, we love having me. Yeah, we love having you here, Miko.
If you have these
And
thoughts and desires, you need Jesus and the church. Yes.
yes, you just got to pray about it. We're not
Yes.
taught healthy coping mechanisms, and but I think a big part of the reason we're not is because the people we're learning from, the people we're surrounded by, don't know them either, because they are doing the exact same thing. So they don't know any different. They just know what it's like for them. And it's the same thing. And so it's just keeps going. Now, we were talking about the whole masturbation thing, like before marriage and how do you experience yourself. Mine, I got married, and that shame around masturbation didn't stop because my ex,
Y'all just need to pray together and read your Bibles together.
yes,
I side eyed so hard.
right?
And I can totally see her
That's
doing that.
yeah. That's the thing. That's what you're taught by Christian therapists a lot of times. And that in the book that I got when I was younger, that was given to me, Sacred Sex book, that's a lot. That's the kind of the focus of it is getting closer to God will give you a better sex life.
No, getting closer to dick will get you have a better sex life.
You
have
just
you
need
met
the big D.
Have you met my friend Wanda? Here you go. Here, sweetie. There's a toy for that.
She has a lot to say. Yeah. So the masturbation thing, in my marriage, that was a huge no-no. that was not you were not, that was bad. If you masturbated, I might as well have gone and cheated on her. Because that was pretty, yeah. I could masturbation. If masturbating was communicated to her, the way she interpreted it is, if I masturbated, that's because she's not meeting my needs, or I'm being lustful, or she wasn't enough. Masturbation meant she wasn't enough, and that I was seeking gratification elsewhere. Because remember, she's supposed to be my one and only, meet all of my needs, 100% of my needs. That was supposed to be, yeah. Remember, she grew up fundamentalist, so
Continue.
yeah,
Okay.
that's what it was like. So, and that actually that ran through the entire thing. So masturbation, couldn't do that. Porn, same thing. Porn was bad. Couldn't watch porn. If she, so that whereas sometimes in marriage maybe that goes away as you guys deal with that stuff. We never dealt with any of that stuff. So it was like, so for me, masturbating and watching porn was always continued to be shameful.
All of these problems would be solved if we were on our knees more. I'm just gonna let you take that.
We're gonna need Paul's. I'm sorry, I was walking my goldfish. Can you say that again?
All of this would be solved if we just spent more time on our knees.
On our knees, looking up.
I'm thinking about all the times I've been told that I need to spend more time on my knees by the church. Oh, my life. You know what? That should be a new shirt.
Welcome to our TED Talk.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Okay.
Oh my God.
Can
I get that on a shirt?
Yes, you could get that on a shirt.
We need the audio clip for that. We're gonna
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Jay, where's Jay?
We're
I'm gonna need that on Jay's soundboard.
So, okay. It's time. We have been avoiding it. It is time. It is time.
Us avoiding something? No.
I know, right? Mhm.
No. We don't avoid
Always
that.
look up. Eye contact is important. You.
It's true. It's true. Absolutely.
Nana and PepPep merch on the way? Yes. Yes. Yes, it is.
Oh, yes.
But it's going to be coming through my store. So,
Yes,
the
the
Nerd
Nerd
Mom
Mummy
Ace
store.
store.
NerdBumAceBoutique.com.
Okay.
Enough edging.
True
Let it out.
love waits. And the horseshit that it is, and how this is the whole reason I am emotionally fucking scarred about sex and love. Okay.
Do you have that picture?
Okay.
Yeah, you have
Okay.
the picture? You need
Of
to
the
have the
Bible?
picture.
Which Bible?
Yes.
Of
The
the
one you sent
Bible?
me. The Bible.
Okay, hold on.
you have
Yeah,
that?
but I don't have it
Yeah.
in. Like, I'm shaking. Like this is gonna be trigger, y'all.
Oh, yeah. True. While she does that, the true love. Oh, there it is. Yes. Be careful you don't swipe. You don't want to show anybody anything else. The new international version of True Love Waits Bible. It's an entire Bible surrounded True Love. The only thing that True Love Waits doctrine, that idea got you, is a life of shame and guilt. A life in a
No, that's not what it got me.
no. Oh, what did it get?
This is what it got
Give
me.
it to us.
And I'm angry. Like, I am like
Yeah.
physically angry. Okay. True Love Waits taught me to equate sex with love.
Yes.
It taught me that
Yes.
love
God.
is sex.
If you were having sex, that meant you were in love or they were in love. Or both.
That sex was love, and that's how everyone felt.
Yes.
Sex was love. So when I got assaulted, How is that fucking love? Like when
Mhm.
I was taught true love waited. True refill glass because this is real shit. Yeah, you're right. I was, and
Yeah. Mhm.
it took me an absolutely inordinate amount of work, and I'm still working on that. And it's like,
Mhm.
luckily, I'm at that point where I've moved past that, where I can see past all, like, I can,
But you're doing
what
the work.
I've dealt with it. I'm doing the work.
Can you imagine if you didn't do the work?
Oh, I know, because I lived it.
Yeah.
Whereas in sex is sacred and it's
Mhm.
love. You
Yes.
only have sex with the people you love. And
Yes.
and they taught me that and I trained me, not taught me, they trained me like I was a
Yep.
fucking dog, that I'm having sex with this person. And I started having sex when in my teens. And of course, then you have
Mhm.
that shame. You have all that stuff,
Mhm.
but you love them. So it was okay
Mhm. Mhm.
until they didn't love you.
Yes.
And
And
then,
then you couldn't understand. Your world just kind of exploded.
right. True love waits, so wait
Yep.
and not learn your sexual preference. Now, if you want to wait until you're married, that is
Absolutely
fine.
weird for me. Mhm.
But they taught you that if you had a sexual urge, if this boy, because I'm a girl,
Mhm.
if this boy wasn't willing to wait, he didn't
Mhm.
really love you, which in
Mhm.
turn is saying that your sexual urges, which are completely natural, are sinful. And so he doesn't love you.
Mhm. Yep.
And so you're taught to reject that because it wasn't real love, and then have sex with this person that you love because that's love.
Mhm.
And
Does it
it wrecked me.
does it kind of
It
does it
wrecked me.
mhm. Does it make you very susceptible to love bombing?
Yes.
Because you get those feelings of love, because that's where love bombing comes from. You get all this stuff and these feelings, and so you then say, "Okay, I'm feeling these feelings, therefore sex is okay because I'm feeling the feelings," and you just pretty much stop thinking at that point, and then it wrecks your world.
Sex is not love. And what a healthy way, and I
Mhm.
hope I'm going to say this right, and I hope Miko correct me if I'm wrong. A healthy way to say, I want to wait to marriage is
Mhm.
not complete that they don't love you. A healthy way of saying that is, this is my boundary. If you don't respect my boundary, then we
Mhm.
cannot be together. Instead of
Mhm.
saying they don't love you because they desire you.
Yeah. Yep.
And then
And
it's like, the sex is sacred and you have to have it with this one person. But what if you're having
mhm.
it before marriage? And then, but I love
No.
them
Mhm. We're having sex, and they're having sex with me, which means they love me too. So
until they
you
don't.
then start, yeah.
Oh, yay.
If you
Yay.
choose if you choose to wait, understand what this means and understand what you're dealing with, what you're going through in a healthy and learning to deal with it in a healthy way, as opposed to what we did, which was absolutely unhealthy because we were never taught healthy ways. And you don't just learning how to deal with something in a healthy way. That just isn't natural. That just doesn't come. It just doesn't poof. It appears and it happens.
Sex, you're right. Sex is intimacy, sex is about connection, but that's
Hmm.
not what they taught us. What they taught us is that sex is a part of love. It is and that is true. It's waiting should be a personal choice. Yes, exactly. You shouldn't be shamed
Yep.
into it, period.
Yep.
Exactly. And that's what we were. We
Exactly.
were shamed into
Hmm.
sexual purity because our bodies were bad and we were bad and everything was bad.
It's a
But
boundary.
sex is only a
It's
part
choice.
of, because we all know those relationships that are purely sex based. Like,
Mhm,
sex is a important part, but it is not the whole part.
mhm.
I was taught sex equaled love. Period. End of
Yes.
story. And that one person that I was waiting on should fulfill all my needs. And so I sat there, and not only did I get love bombed and I was susceptible to this I projected this onto the people I was having
Mhm.
sex with or I was involved with or dating as a teenager, as in my
Yep.
early 20s.
Well, because what's the rule about dating? Sorry, what's the rule about dating? You date to
Get
marry.
married. Right.
It all fits together.
Right. And then, oh, see, now you made me lose my thoughts.
Sorry, I thought you had it. I was trying to just dating, having sex, the people you were having sex with, people having sex with you, and love and being susceptible to love bombing.
Okay, we're gonna have to stop this interrupting shit. 'Cause that's
All
the
right.
second time this week. Oh, so okay, so I was susceptible to love bombing, but I
Mhm.
love bomb myself, and that
Really?
was a fucking hard thing to learn. Is
How did you
I
love
was
bomb
love
yourself?
bombing myself. I was gaslighting myself.
Oh yeah,
I was
gotcha.
gaslighting myself.
Questioning your own reality.
Because obviously they love me, obviously,
Hmm.
like I'm going crazy, right? They love me, they have to love
Yes.
me. I was like convincing myself.
Hmm. Which meant you often put up with accepted things, allowed your boundaries to be to be broken because of that.
No, they were violated. There are a lot of things that got violated, and
Yeah,
I
well, that's what I'm saying is because you felt that way, you allowed that to happen, and they did happen to you. People did that. People did that to you. You allowed people in your life
sex
that didn't
does
respect your boundaries.
not equal love. It is not a even scale. It is an important part of it, but it is not an even one to one. And that wrecked me for a very long time. That put me through so much shit because I was like, well, we're having sex, so they have to love me. They have to at least, have feelings for me. And I put myself in relationships and situations, and I stayed in relationships and situations because I convinced myself that they loved me because we were having sex and it was good sex. So that means it's good, right? Like, good sex means really great love, like.
Exactly, because you're taught that from the beginning that the person you find and you love, it's going to be amazing and wonderful. So when it is amazing and when it seems amazing and wonderful, you equate that to, well, this must be the one because it is amazing and wonderful. And then you allow things to happen. You put up with things in those relationships and say longer than you should have because all that came bundled together. And to tell yourself that this isn't okay, this isn't healthy, this isn't good, meant like completely throws your world. It means your entire world has gone topsy turvy because all the things that you believed and equated aren't true. It's not real, and it's hard to handle that.
Yeah.
So it's easier to just let it go, right? Just keep the cycle, let the cycle continue.
That is just one of the most toxic things that I learned.
Hmm.
And it is, as y'all can tell, it is something that, which is why for me, it is incredibly important to advocate for proper emotional and mental sexual education. Like that's why it's important for me to talk about these kinks, well, on Dinks with Kinks, and it's important for me that like to be open and honest about my
Mhm.
sexuality and my thing because is doesn't equal love.
Yep.
And that
And
was
because the purity culture. Sorry. Good.
no, and that was the hardest thing for me to learn. And it hit me hard. And
Mhm.
I'm still working through that trauma. Like, you know? Go
And
ahead.
though we're talking from our own experiences, when we were young and even current, the purity culture, the true love waits, the abstinence only, that is still that's still currently being taught in schools, in homes, in churches. That's still a huge part of culture, especially in the South and in around Southern Baptist. And so this is people are continuing to deal with and to have these traumas.
Yeah. So that's why I try to be very open about my kinks, about my like it just
Mhm.
having just going through that. The true love waits, the purity culture, the remain pure, the shame and the guilt that went with that, the shame and the guilt that
Mhm.
that I had against my own body, against my own
Mhm.
sexuality. The fact that I didn't wait for that one perfect person. So I didn't wait. So that makes me used. I felt used. I felt used. I
Mhm.
felt like because they told you nobody will have you. You have to remain pure for your
Yes.
spouse, your husband. You can't be like I felt used. I felt
Yes.
dirty. And
No one's
so
gonna
I
want
felt
you.
right. I felt unworthy. So
Mhm.
that spiraled into a whole bunch of different areas in my life. And it's like, I just, it, that, bleh, is the best way. Like I felt used and dirty. And then on top of the other traumas that I had going on in my life, like it was terrible. It was terrible. And that's when in my 20s when I finally, you know, finished my stint in college.
Your dark period,
My
your dark
dark
the dark ages.
period and I
Yeah.
started actually genuinely doing the work. I was like 25, 26. So, I mean, it's still young, but it's taken a long time. It has taken a long time to come to some terms with some things because I was made to feel from the age of 16 because I lost my virginity when I was 16 till the age of 26, maybe for 10 years, if not more,
Mhm.
that I was used, that I was dirty and I was unworthy and no one of quality would want me because I didn't wait. And true love waits. So I'm going to take whatever I can get. That is why I
And it
say
feeds
true love
into that.
waits is
Yeah.
horseshit.
Mhm. Yep.
So there's that. So now there's a toy for that. You know
There's
what?
a I feel like there needs to be a design that parodies the true love waits.
So I would like to know because I got out of my 20s, so I've had like 10 or 15 years to really just start to crack into myself and my sexuality, which is hence
Mhm.
where I'm. What about you, Sean? Tell me. Yeah, what about you?
Well, wow, it is like we are running over, and I feel like we're probably at the end. No, no, we're not.
I mean, we can, but
No,
how's
I'm totally kidding.
yes? Get some sand out of your ears, your head buried in your
Yeah.
sand. Okay, yeah. Even the term "losing your virginity" was a puritanical
Yep.
undertone. Yep.
Yeah. Well, and the same thing with the idea of the purity, calling it purity culture. So purity and sex. What they're saying is that if you don't do any of these, if you don't have sex or anything sexual, then you're pure. So if you do, you're not pure. So it holds up this really ridiculous standard. It so what about me? You want to know about my dating? How that affected me when I was dating, or how that affected me when I was married?
No, well, we sort of know how, like, because we'll go into that sort of in the relationship marriage episode.
Okay.
I want to know post divorce
Okay.
or 2020 when you've come into your sexual awakening. How are you dealing with that? Because it's still new for you.
It is. Yeah. It was enlightening, relieving. It was I spent so much of my marriage, my years feeling isolated, feeling shameful for what I was for how I felt and what I was interested in for my kinks. Um and I felt dirty in a bad way for having those. Those weren't normal, those weren't natural. And so after that, over the last couple of years, I've realized that this stuff is normal. That first of all, I'm not the only one who has these kinks. I'm not the only one who feels this way and has this desire for whatever. There's a whole lot of people that do. There's whole communities built around it. So it's not just me, eh, right? Yeah. Thanks, Roogs.
What do you think, Jock?
Um,
Now,
it's not so. It's I don't feel isolated anymore. I don't feel dirty about it anymore. I don't feel uh I don't feel shameful about it. I have these I have these kinks and fetishes, and that's just normal. That's I can better understand it, and I can explore that and what it means. And really understand myself better now that I'm not full of shame for having these thoughts. Um yeah, so that's really it's just been very awakening, very relieving to not constantly associate those together. Um, masturbation and porn, all of it. Now I'm like, that's normal. It, I don't have
I
to
got it
feel
bookmarked on
guilty,
my phone. It's fine.
right? Yeah, exactly. Because I got stuck when I was deep in the church. It was those things were still there. It was just my response to them was different. So it was do the thing, then feel guilty about it, feel ashamed because I did it, because I didn't, because I gave into it, because I gave into the flesh, because
That moist
I
flesh.
oh my god, stop, oh my, I
Sorry, go
will go
ahead.
back to the dad jokes. I will bring them full circle.
Sorry, go ahead. That's no. See, that's for interrupting my thought process earlier.
I deserve that. I do. I do.
No, next time you interrupt me, I'm gonna go all full Nana and go, Grandma's up. Will you let me speak?
Are you gonna break out the wooden spoon?
I will. Wait, no, I don't want to trigger people. I don't want people to, like, start
That's true.
twitching.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
fine.
So it was you do the thing, you feel ashamed because you did it and you gave in because you were trying to be strong. You had to be strong. I have a book, Every Man's Battle. I was given this book years ago. It's about fighting the good fight against porn and those urges. So shame, you feel guilty, and then you repent, and then you do it again, and you lather, rinse, repeat. And that was just over and over, constant. So I don't have that anymore. It's very freeing.
Till Miko goes through your drawers, then you have a little bit of shame.
That is well. That was all. Yes, that is.
Oh my god, your
Okay.
face just said.
There's shame for two things. There's one about that I do it. There's two about other people knowing that I do it. That I'm still dealing with.
I
Like
get
I don't
that.
feel shame that I do these things, but other people knowing that I do some of these things, there's still some shame in that because that was bred into me. That was trained into me for so long by everyone around me, especially the ex.
Nope.
So,
I was
yeah.
helping. See, she was helping.
She
So
Miko, yes, Miko is helping.
yeah,
Miko,
and that's very
there's
true. That
yeah.
is
Miko,
very
there's
true.
more
Whereas
stuff in the drawers, by
in
the way. There's new stuff in the drawers, Miko.
one
It's like
thing
hide and go
about
seek.
it is like hide and go seek. I'm with you there, Sean.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good for him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that's where for the longest, like the fact that I'm on Dinks with Kinks and I talk openly about my sexuality, my fetishes, my kinks, and who I am. And that is something. That is one thing I've been into. I mean, I've known I've been into that stuff for a long time. But that was
Mm-hmm.
not something I knew that, but I wasn't open about it. It is also another thing to start talking about it because I'm supposed to just lay on my back and pray to the Lord and wait till it's over and be the sacred Madonna child to my children. Like the, because I'm not allowed to enjoy sex.
Your wifely duties.
My
Don't
wifely
wifely
duties.
duty.
So, oh, and with
Yeah.
that, so
Mm-hmm.
purity culture is very much. Sean and I probably could go on for hours about this. This is one of our biggest traumas
Mm-hmm.
that we, as you can tell, we are still dealing with. And that it is very difficult to have that sex conversation, not because we don't want to, not because, and not just have the conversation now, but be honest about it because we were trained, like we said, that the person we're married to is supposed to fulfill every single need and they're supposed to be perfect. And yeah.
There's a lot of unrealistic expectations that are set up,
And like our
and a
kinks.
denial of reality.
Yes, and denying
Mhm.
that we have kinks because being kinky, like that's not
Yeah,
not
because even when you're
okay.
married, you're having sex, but the whole pleasure and then the whole kinky and oh yeah, God is
But
watching.
that's another episode. Kinkin' and Christ. That's what we should call it.
Oh my God.
So, yeah, so this is one we sort of knew was going to get a little heated. We knew this, but this is also the basis of a lot of where we go from here.
Mhm.
Because what we often, except nobody is perfect, legit.
Mhm.
Even me. I know. It's
That
hard
is
to believe.
correct.
I know. Because we've often said, I know I've said in the, DWK, I've said on here, we've said on here that we were raised in a purity culture. And so that has affected us sexually in our kinks and how we view our kinks and how we approach our
Mhm.
kinks and we approach sex and we approach the sex talk. How we approach the physical part of relationships just in general from A to Z. And so when we say we were raised in the purity culture, this is what we mean.
Yep.
So when we go from
This is
here and address the porn issue and address the kink issue and address the
yep.
relationship marriage issue, this is where we're coming from.
This is our foundation. Yeah.
Foundation of fucked upness. Yeah.
Mhm. Yep. Foundation is strong with this one.
But it is also something that am still working on, even though I've been out of the church much longer than Sean has. So Sean is dealing with this in a
That stuff
fresh
was,
way.
yeah, it was reinforced with me for a lot from my entire life, just about up until a couple years ago.
So yay. We had the sex talk.
We did have the sex talk. Yep.
All right. Well,
Birds and
thank
bees.
you. Birds and we're talking the birds and the bees.
We
Thank
talked
you.
about smushing the birds and the bees. Smushing the bees.
Why are you this human? Do you
Because
why?
Dondarrow's not here, so I've got to fill in his spot.
Okay. Oh, you know what? You know what though?
What?
I'm gonna be all funny. God knew. God knew that I needed technical difficulties because I started our stream and we had sound and everything was good. Everything ran perfectly.
Right? Oh yeah.
It's God's plan.
God is watching. Mm-hmm.
He needs to sign a waiver.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So, is there anything you want to say, Sean, before we go and enjoy the rest of our Sunday trauma day?
No, I think we covered that well.
Yay! Okay, so tonight, 8:30
What are we doing
Eastern,
tonight?
7. What are we doing tonight? 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central, Blue Skirt Boy Network. All of those wonderful people. I don't know. Are you gonna hop on? You gonna play? Are you game a little bit?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe. I think they're playing Gang Beast tonight.
Yes, they are playing Gang Beast. So join us as they play some
Touch butt.
rubbery
There's a
fun.
lot of butt touching.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
butt rubber touching rubber. It's fine.
Yeah, a lot of grabbing, a lot of groping, a lot of petting.
Tomorrow, Monday, ask Dr. Miko at 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central, right on her channel. Sean, you can type it in because yeah.
Whose channel? What?
Miko,
I need to. Oh,
what?
Miko can type it in. Miko's here.
Oh,
Gang
well,
Beast.
watch our wonderful Miko. It's Ask Dr. Miko, and she has amazing things. I love it. If you want real world advice, no BS, and that will actually like really relate to you and hit home. Like there are a lot of times I feel like I'm like, this is hitting my trauma. Like,
Yeah. I think Miko is a hottie with a PhD. I mean,
she is a hottie with a
you don't get much
PhD.
better than that.
Nope.
Follow and subscribe to Miko.
Yes, please. And then we follow up with some chaos, which is anti-Miko. Anti-Miko's
We balance
show.
the Don Daring 101 balances out the.
That's right. D101 on John's channel. That is 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central. And then after that, right here on Nerd Mom Ace, we have a Riggs Happy Hour where we get drunk and pretty much try to decide what we're going to talk about on Dinks with
Friday.
Kinks Live
Dinks with
on
Kinks.
Friday.
Yeah, that's pretty much what y'all talk about.
So it's Dinks with Kinks Light.
Light with me.
Yes, we Sean. So that's all the way through Monday. So Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, Blue Skirt Boy Network are usually gaming. So follow, subscribe them, and thank you for showing up for our religious Rug, and Arug gets to sing for us. Oh yeah.
We give out a lot of praise. There's a lot of praising. There's a lot of singing.
Praise.
Good bit of drinking.
You're right.
It's like a bar. It's pretty much.
Thanks for showing up on Waking Up with Nana and PepPep. It's Werther's for your trauma. That's what I call it. Werther's for your trauma. And we will. Oh my God, I can't function with you. Amazing show. Thanks, Spirit, for me. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. Go enjoy your Sunday, and we will see you next week with Same bat channel, same bat time. So, all right.
Same
Bye,
Batman and Robin.
everyone.
Bye.